Hello and welcome back to my channel. So I was scrolling through Netflix and I came across the new Irish Wish movie with Lindsay Lohan. Are rom-coms becoming a thing this year? Are they coming back? Are they having a comeback? I love a good early 2000s rom-com movie, so I am so excited to see this movement. If we're going to be recycling ideas and concepts, I'm so happy this one is coming back because they're just such feel good movies. I want to watch it again. I normally do not rewatch things. Once I know the storyline, I just cannot get back into it. But this one I would watch again 10 out of 10. And so if you can't guess from the title, it is about a wish. So I'll give a brief synopsis of it. So Lindsay Lohan is basically an author or editor, but she wants to be an author, but she helped co-write this book with this popular author. But it turns out she actually basically wrote it and he just put his name on it, which that is a type of writing that they have, like a ghostwriter, but I don't think that's the position that she signed up for originally. But she has a huge crush on him, and at the release party of the book, her friend meets him and they instantly hit it off. And like a few months later, next thing you know, they're in Ireland and they're getting married. So she's now a bridesmaid to her best friend who is marrying her crush. I feel for you right there. That is a hard pill to swallow. I am so sorry. But she never told him how she felt. She never told her friends. She kept it to herself. So nobody is truly to blame here because nobody knew. Her mom knew, but nobody else knew. So first off, they lose her bags. I don't understand. The girl, or the friend that was getting married, she showed up with like 10 bags. Like, girl, how many bags do you need? I understand you're getting married, but what do you have in here? Like, they weren't there that long. What did you have in these 10 bags? Like, you acted like y'all were moving. But her 10 bags made it, but somehow they lost Lindsay's one and only bag. But during that whole debacle, she ran into this other guy who had the same looking bag as her. So they had a little splat because she thought it was thought it was her bag. And then they met again on the bus because her friends left her and went on to the mansion. Even though she said they could, it just felt like they were kind of being rude the whole time to her. And so she got there later. The other friend that was the bridesmaid had a little crush on the author's brother. So it was basically like Lindsay was just there third wheeling. She was just there third wheeling, trying to also process her feelings about, I'm about to watch the man that I love marry my best friend, and this is just going to be life. And this is just going to be how I suffer for the rest of my life. So while she's processing all of that, she's also having to be a third wheel. And the author plans a surprise trip for them. And it's like a super romantic trip. So like I said, the author and her best friend are together in a boat. And then the other bridesmaid and his brother are in a boat. Like I said, it's a super romantic like thing. I don't know why he chose this as the group activity, but they did. And so she was like, y'all just go ahead, because I think she felt the vibes and she just did not want to be a part of that. But they were in this super pretty place. Is this a real place? Because this was super gorgeous. And so this is also the lake that was on the cover of his book. So she was familiar with the lake, but she starts walking around by herself and she comes up to like this little nice tree with a bench, and she's talking to her mom on the phone. Her mom knows that she likes the guy, and her mom is talking to her about what she should do. And then she's like, I can't just like wish I was married to him or whatever. And this, let's just call her fairy godmother, shows up and she's like, was that a wish? And she goes through the whole process with her about making the wish. She makes the wish and she falls asleep and she wakes up, and now she's the one engaged to the author and not her best friend. And so this is where it really gets interesting, because she got her wish, but it wasn't what she thought it would be. And I don't know if this is like situation, like if she had said before, would it have been a little bit different? Like if she started dating him before the girl and him had met, like in real life, would it have been different or what? But in this timeline, now he knows the best friend. So even though she's engaged to him and the best friend clearly still have emotions for each other. But now the best friend's in her position where she's not saying anything. And he's also trying not to do anything, like trying not to cheat on her. But I do wonder, in the first timeline, if she had told him she liked him in the first place, what would have happened before he ever met the friend? Like, what would have happened? But so she goes through this whole process of being engaged to him with his parents. His parents are a lot to deal with. His mom is a lot. She wants her to wear some ugly dress. They're like, this is high-end vintage. I don't care. I do not care where this dress came from. This dress is ugly. Okay, let's put it in a museum. It's time to retire it. It's ugly. So the mom is trying to force her to wear this dress. She's just going along with everything because she's just happy to live this dream. Like, she is just happy to be getting married to this man. So she's just going along with everything, even though she doesn't agree. And so obviously, since this is a different timeline, she never met the guy with the luggage. So this little fairy godmother, turns out she's an actual like saint or something. So she's like playing games with them because she's trying to teach her a lesson of like, sometimes what you want isn't what you need. So she shows up outside the shop, and so Lindsay starts running after her, and there's a car that pulls up, and she doesn't stop running, so she runs right into the truck, flips over into the car onto this man's lap, who turns out to be the guy with the luggage. But obviously he thinks this is their first time meeting because this is a different timeline. So she remembers he's a photographer. Oh yeah, they need a photographer for the wedding because every photographer that works with this family ends up quitting and hating them. I understand why, because this family was a lot. I didn't even like the author. Honestly, seeing him with her, I did not like him at all, but he was very different with the friends. So this is one of those situations where, you're going to be different with your person. So find your person, basically. This goes back to, if he wanted to, he would. If you're not somebody's person, you're just not somebody's person, honestly. But the mom runs out after her, and everybody sees that he's a photographer, so she offers him the job. And he's a nature photographer, and I think he was going to show her some locations for engagement photos or something, because they were getting married at the house, so this had to be for like engagement photos. And so they went to go look at these cliffs. The cliffs were beautiful, but she knew it wouldn't be his style. It wouldn't be the author's style. But on their way back, it started like pouring rain, and a tree fell in their pathway, so they couldn't get back to drop her off at her house. So they went to this pub, and this is where those sparks like started to fly. They were drinking, dancing, having a good time, but she's like, I'm getting married tomorrow, so like we can't do anything, or getting married in 2 days, whatever, so we can't do anything. But the sparks were definitely there. I don't know why she didn't see it before, but I mean, if you had this dream and you've been crushing on this man for a year or so, I understand. Now you're living this dream, like, would you be willing to give it away for somebody new? But so yeah, they spend the night there. Their phones die, so she can't get in touch with anybody to let them know that she's on the way. And when she so she's going to her rehearsal her rehearsal. And when she gets there, the friend that was originally engaged to the man is standing in her place acting like the bride. I'm like, there's just so many innuendos here. I wouldn't know how to handle any of this, because it's like, girl, back up. But also, girl, I did kind of just take your man and you just don't even know. It's a lot. And so at the rehearsal dinner, they're like all asking questions like how well does the couple know each other? So I don't know why like in this timeline she wouldn't have the memories of how things like went down. So it turns out she was the one who proposed to him and he just said yes. So no, he did not want to get engaged to you. You should never have to propose to a man. If you have to propose to a man, he did not want to be with you. I'm not even sure why he said yes in the first place. But yeah, that's how she found out that she proposed to him. He didn't know her favorite author. Sad thing is, the photographer knew all of this and he only knew her for what, a day? He only knew you for a day and he knew all this stuff about you, and your own fiance doesn't know anything about you. That's sad. So she got into an argument with the photographer because obviously they have feelings for each other, but she's still just trying to stick with this engagement, honestly, and see it through. But her fiance is still having those feelings with her friend. So she sees them dancing together at the rehearsal dinner. She sees them have a moment on the balcony after the rehearsal dinner where her friend starts crying. So the day of her wedding, she finally has a heart to heart with her friend. She doesn't tell her what she did, obviously, but she does say, like, I know you have feelings for him and I'm going to try to make this right. So she shows up at the wedding. She's not in that ugly wedding dress. She's just in some normal clothes, and she tells him, we're not going to get married. He's upset not by the fact that that she doesn't want to get married. He's upset by the fact that some commoner was able to take his girl. So he's more upset with his ego that this man just came in and stole his woman like that. So he starts tussling with that man. But also in this tussle, Lindsay was like, you had a moment with my best friend last night. And he's like, that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. So after they get done tussling, here comes the friend. The friend's like, you called me irrelevant? It was just a whole mess and everything. But then she tried to run after the photographer, and the photographer was like, I don't want to be with you. Like, I know. And I was like, what is going on? So she just ruined her whole wedding for you, and you don't want to be with her? Sir, stop playing. Stop playing. So he gets in his car, he drives off, she drives off, she goes back to the wishing tree, and she's like, take it all back. Take it all back. The lady shows up. Eventually, she does take it back. And she wakes up, and it is the day of the wedding, but now she's just the bridesmaid, and she's extremely happy that she's not marrying this man, as she should. This man was horrible. Like, two people can be meant for each other, but this man was horrible. It's such an interesting concept to see him be such a good person to this woman, but he's not a good person to anybody else. It's an interesting concept that really should be like explored. Anyways, so they go to the wedding or whatever. The photographer obviously isn't there because it's a different timeline. But on her way out of the wedding to go find the photographer, the author comes up to her, and he's like, oh, it's time to start writing my second book, but I'm going to be on my honeymoon, so you're going to start on my book without me, you're going to start writing it. And so she confronts him, and she's like, okay, am I going to get co-writing credit? And he's basically like, no, I'm the star, you're going to write it, and I'm just going to take credit for it. And she was like, no, absolutely not. And I was like, that is absolutely right, girl. Do not write a single other word for him, because why do you have so much credit if you can't even write? So they're praising writing that's not even yours. So that's how she ended that relationship. Obviously, she'll have to still see him because of her best friend, but I'm so happy she realized this man is just not all that he cracks up to be. Like I said, he might be good for the friend, but he's not good for everybody. But that's how she ended that. And then she went to the pub to go find the photographer. He wasn't there, but he had just left, so she was able to find him out on a bench. And so now he remembers her as the luggage girl. And he is a traveler because he takes like a lot of nature photos, but he said some lady, the fairy god lady, came to him and was like, you should stay here for a while. And Lindsay also decided to stay because she wanted to write a book on the cliffs where they took those first photos at. And so that's how they ended up together. And it was honestly just such a cute rom-com movie. And I love to see this comeback coming. Like, I love these movies. It was such a good-hearted movie, but with a good message. Like, you should not be wishing for something that somebody else has, because it just may not be the same for you. Like, you really should watch this and look at the deeper meaning of this all. Like, you can get so many different perspectives of this. You can have a crush on a man for years, or a crush on anybody for years, and you build it up in your head, and it's just not going to be that if you actually get together with them. You can see him treating some other girl in a better light, and you're jealous of that, but that does not mean they're going to treat you the same way. So find your person, because your person is going to be what you need and not what you want. It's two different things, and keep that in mind also when you're going out there with all your little lists and stuff. You have a list of what you want, but it may not be what you need. Because think about it, when you're going out there dating, you have a list of what you want, and most of the time you get it when you're dating these different people. But why is it not working out? Because it's not what you need. So there's just so much there that could be explored. Don't wish for what other people have. The right person is meant for you and will find you. Live your own story. Also, live your own dreams. Do not sit there making somebody else's dream a reality and neglect yourself. Because she obviously was a good enough writer. She just needs to get her name out there. And that man knows good and well he could have gave her a co-writing credit to help get her name out there. But he didn't want that, because then she would be his competitor. And I hope her book blows up and everybody realizes the similarities and she exposes him. But yeah, I think it's a 10 out of 10. I don't understand. I didn't click on it, but I saw that apparently it was a device. It was a device in the reviews, like, of people saying it was good or it was bad. I don't know why. It was a really good movie. Like, it was beautiful. It had a good storyline. It also had some lessons in there to be learned. I don't know what more you could want. Like, it was cute. It was cute. I suggest everybody watch it. Watch it one time just for fun. You're going to want to watch it again because it was a good movie. The next time you watch it, go back and actually dive deep into those life lessons that are there. It was just 10 out of 10. I'm happy it was like a saint and not a godmother, because I feel like a godmother's just going to give you what you want. Like Cinderella, she just gave her what she wanted. But the saint, I feel like she was definitely thinking more on like life lessons you need to learn. Because she could have gave her what she wanted. She could have let her get married. She could have did all of that. But I like how she gave her what she wanted, but then also was like, hey, let me teach you something along the way and lead you down to the path to where you need to be and where you should be. So let me know, have you watched this movie? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Are you one of the people who don't like it? Why don't you like it? Okay, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you next time.